And we're live! And Dave apparently is being attacked by his furniture. That was funny. suddenly you're like, oh God!
Right in the middle of Shane's intro.
You know, he gives that look into the camera like,
and like, help me! Help me! My chair has gone wild. I mean, that I have to say is one of the probably the worst feelings ever. Is many years ago, I was in Mexico, and we were at this like dinner in the jungle adventure thing, whatever the hell it was, some touristy thing. And one of the things that they did is we were in this area where they had all these picnic table-y things that were made from wood of trees in the area, kind of thing. And one of the benches I noticed was broken. Like it had actually, the wood had cracked and was it was very not sturdy. And I thought, oh well, they must know about that, so I'm going to go sit over here with other people. So I sat over there, and some other group came 5-10 minutes later, and they sat at those tables, one of the tables that had the big broken branch or whatever the hell it was, and it broke and collapsed on this. The woman had sat down and put her feet sort of underneath the thing, and the wood broke, and the whole log came down on her ankle and broke her foot, and it was just gross. So yeah, I'll never ever not believe you, Dave, that your furniture has attacked you, because I saw it firsthand in the wild, where a piece of furniture attacked and mutilated somebody, who was then promptly taken off to.
So let me ask you
some
something,
medical
Shane.
place.
Did you stop and laugh even just a little bit inside?
Well, I walked up to her. I did walk up to her, and I went, ha ha, oh. So yeah,
It's too classy for that.
no, it was we were very sympathetic. I mean, it was an accident, and stuff happens. But I did feel later on that somebody should have noticed that the log had broken like I had, but I guess not. Who knew? But I didn't know anyone had sat in it. Otherwise, I might have said something. So, but I was what, 15 at the time, or 14 or something. So
Oh yeah,
dumb teenager. So
you're absolved.
Huh?
Said you're absolved.
Thank you. I feel so guilty that I will cry myself to sleep this evening. So let's talk about some beer, because that's what we're here for. I, of course, am drinking the same beer that I've had for the last month and a half. But what have you guys brought? You brought something interesting there, Alan and Dave.
Yeah, so Dave picked this one out. Dave, do you want to introduce it?
All right.
It's your pick. You should introduce it.
Well, it is. This is Point Vienna Amber Lager. I believe that this is a staple, because I'm pretty sure I've seen this over the last few years on the shelves at various times. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alan. But
I'm
pretty sure.
I think it's a staple. I think it's part of their regular rotation. I'm not sure myself, though.
I think I've seen the label before, anyways. Multiple
Yes.
times. And, this is just random. I was just in the boozeteria grabbing something else.
Welcome to Boozeteria. 4 people enter, 1 person drinks.
Now I've done my pour.
Get sad faces.
There's how it
That's a
looks.
pretty solid looking pour.
It's a gorgeous color.
It is. It's very nice. For a lager, it's a little bit darker than a regular lager, which you would expect that for a Vienna lager, I think. We've had Vienna lagers before. They were a little bit darker. So let's try this out. Smells like a lager.
Smells like a lager. Drinks like a lager.
Ew.
Ew? What do you mean, ew?
Not a forestry
I'm not
lager.
looking for- That'd be just
Not somebody who chops down trees, but a lager is in,
I'm a lumberjack.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I'm not going to
everybody.
sing.
That partly explain the popularity of lagers.
Yeah.
In the fucking, I'm thinking the sort of in the BC sense of your lager drinker. Is your lager drinker drinking that because they heard somebody call it a lager and they were like, oh, it's a lager?
That's
We're
a
all
very
lagers
good question.
here, so we'll have a lager. Oh, it's a lager. It's for us. We're lagers.
We're loggers. Welcome, everyone.
So, Dave, what are you thinking of this?
Yeah.
Everything's done very
Or
well.
maybe like.
Is this lager excellent?
It is. I am enjoying this thoroughly.
Wow.
So this is interesting because here the term Vienna in front of lager means it's kind of an upmarket product, whereas if you put Vienna in front of sausage, what you have is tinned wieners. No?
True. Very astute.
Okay.
So,
But Locke is right. Remember we had the it was a Vienna lager from, I want to say it was Moody Ales.
yes.
We did it on the show, and we were all really impressed with it. And Locke, you and I have had it before. When we went to the Drake that one time.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah. So this one is kind of similar to that, actually. It's eminently quaffable. I could drink this on a summer day. I almost kind of wonder if this should be like in a 6-pack of cans.
Yeah,
Because
right.
this would be good to take like camping or something, Yeah, like if you don't want like a regular lager, you want something that's a little bit more fancy, but you don't want to go this fancy, with a bomber bottle. I think this could go well with a 6-pack.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Very marketable.
What?
I'm enjoying it. I get it again.
You get it again?
Totally.
All right.
Absolutely.
So partly because Ontario was late to craft brewing because of governmental restrictions, provincial restrictions. That we've been over these, I think, a little bit. They basically stifled the industry at the front end. Having finally taken off, what's interesting about the industry in Ontario, big bombs are not the thing. Big bombs were the format for craft brewing, I think, pretty much up and down the West Coast, as far south as California at least, and as far north as BC, for sure. Probably Alaska. Certainly Yukon, but the big bomb has been the sort of the standard, that's our delivery, is the glass bottle and it's 750 milliliters. Ontario, I think because of certain economic and possibly environmental pressures, decided that glass was a problem. Now, I'm of mixed view on that because glass, if you leave it in a riverbed, becomes sand mighty quick. Whereas aluminum cans tend to gather up and they look, like a generation later, there are a bunch of aluminum cans. The difference potentially is that the aluminum cans are more recyclable even in a late stage, if anybody bothers to collect them. It's a big if. But for whatever reason, the Ontario craft beer scene went straight to tall boys. And that is what I bear for you this evening. The Great Lakes Brewery Octopus Wants to Fight IPA.
I have to say that is a pretty epic name.
It
Octopus.
is a pretty epic name.
Like, they're not trying to be clever in the sense of, like calling it Octofighter or something. It's just, look, we couldn't come up with a name. We thought an octopus would be cool. We think it'd be cool that it was trying to fight, so we're just calling it Octopus Wants to Fight. Or looking for a
To
fight. Over.
confirm, as it says on the back, our pet octopus is a bit of a jerk. He's that guy who has a couple, then either tells you how much he loves you or threatens to fight you. So we brewed this IPA with 8 varieties of hops and 8 types of malt. We targeted 88 IBU, that's International Beer Units, and 8.8% to a peace tin. Sadly, when we found out that we'd fabricated all of the above info, it only made him more volatile. We are starting to realize that Octopus was a poor choice for a pet. Well, so that was what they were aiming for. What they arrived at was something less than that aspirational 8.8%. This is actually 6.2%. I get that they're fans of the number 8, and given it was my birthday on the 8th of this month, so am I. And when I was in Little League Soccer, the number on my jersey was 8, and so 8's always been a number that's popular with me. And if you put it on its side, it looks like an infinity symbol, and that's the flag of the Métis, and it's all got lots of, Canada Plus content, and it's, like the whole infinity thing we got. Take it on way. But there's a problem with this whole 88 thing, especially in today's enlightened times, which is to say that 88 is a white nationalist slang for Heil Hitler.
Oh my God, really?
HH back in World War II was they had a numbers for letters thing going, and H was 8. So Heil Hitler was 88. And that's arguably why their main gun was 88 millimeters. But
that's so sad.
Yeah. But I don't think that's what our friends intended here. We want to differentiate that sometimes you say stuff that means something, and sometimes you say stuff that means something entirely different because the context is different. And in this case, the context is they actually have a picture of an octopus. We'll show him here with boxing gloves. And I'm pretty sure that he's purple, not white. So I think we're safe. Let's give it a try. Oh,
well, and that's the weird...
oatmeal.
Okay. Oatmeal, right?
Yep. Flaked oats as well as water and malted barley and hops and yeast.
Well, the one thing that I want to comment about the whole 88 thing is that I didn't know that was a thing. Had no idea. In the white power world.
Did you know that Hawaiian shirt would too?
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. But because I've always associated 88, growing up on the West Coast, right? I have a huge amount of exposure to Asian cultures, and 88 is like a symbol for, I think is it luck? In the China, I'm not actually sure exactly where this comes from, but essentially it means luck and prosperity or something in the zodiac. And I was curious.
It's a very popular number, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I was interested to learn that's the one thing I didn't know.
You can well imagine that in Calgary there's an entirely different association for 88, and that is the 1988 Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there you go.
So I find that very interesting because the one thing that I just Googled 88 purely just out of that, and that's like the first thing that comes up is the hate symbols database, and talking about how it's meant for the whole HH thing and all that kind of stuff. So that's so dumb. That's really unfortunate. But dumb. But I don't know. It's. Although I will also point out,
somebody of Chinese culture would just say whatever.
Who knows? But the other thing too is that the stylized SS for the SS back in Nazi Germany is also a symbol in Chinese culture as well, meaning something completely different. And I remember walking down through Chinatown here a couple of years back. I think I actually pointed it out to you, Locke. I mean, I think you were with me around that time. Anyway, and I happened to say, "Oh yeah, there's the SS store," and yeah, it's a style. It looks exactly like I imagine it to be in at least in Germany of the 30s and 40s. in Hollywood anyway. But there, I don't know. It's so strange that all these different symbols mean all kinds of things to all kinds of different people, and at the end of the day, it still doesn't mean that I don't get free beer. So
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, the meanings of words change over time.
true.
I'm trying to think of one.
I'm trying. I was just actually realizing that you and I are Star Wars out here today. Well done, sir.
Justice is. Everybody's talking about justice
I need
right
to
now.
get me a good Star Wars shirt. That has to be done.
Yeah, Dave. If you don't have a good shirt,
You gotta go classic
Look me up,
illustrated
guys.
movie poster art. Classic illustrated movie poster art. Do not go some newfangled thing.
Yes,
yeah,
classic.
that's pretty classic.
There you
That's
go.
the I think that's
Yeah.
the second poster that they released for Star Wars. Back
Yes,
in
it
the day.
is. It was the
Yeah,
main
yeah, I'm-
poster that it was the second one, but it was the main one that they stuck with.
Right. So, how's your week been? Oh, first of all, before we talk about the previous 7 days in our lives, of course, Locke, it was your birthday on Monday, and so here's to you.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to you.
Because
Happy birthday. Happy belated.
I did call him and say hello on his birthday. But
Nice.
And now 100% firmly on the wrong side of middle age.
yeah,
The end
Yeah.
coming quicker than the beginning.
I now sit and realize that there are less days in front than there's more days behind.
You never know. There might be like some sort of a medical miracle at some point.
Medical miracles. My Aunt Eva's 101. I'm just thinking that I'm probably not my Aunt Eva.
Yeah.
So
How'd you know that?
let me just before we delve off into other more interesting issues, let me talk a little bit about what this beer actually tastes like, because
Yes,
this
please.
is out of Toronto beers. I think probably if I see it in bars, it's my go-to. This is what I drink on tap in Toronto. Not that I've been doing that much this year, but such as I made a discovery out here. This is kind of the one, and so interestingly, there's, as I said earlier, we have flaked oats as well as barley in the mix. It classes as, I kind of think, sort of one of those sort of Northeast IPA type of beers. It's a little bit hazy. You can't see it in this cup because it's aluminum, but I've tried it out in other glassware, and I can assure you it does have a little haze to it. Little bit of a citrusy vibe. But again, with these with Ontario IPAs, just a little bit more malt than you generally get in the recipe out west, or maybe sort of towards your sort of your Bostonian kind of Eastern IPA.
And why is that, Locke?
I'm puzzling over it. I don't have a good answer for you. But what I would suggest is there's something about the climate, something about drinking tastes in Ontario that people want a little bit more of that back end malt flavor. They're I don't know why that is, because it's for summer drinking. I kind of like something really sort of crispy. Right. There, like in Ontario, everybody goes directly to your lagers and sort of that sort of bready
Right.
flavor, right?
So
Whereas-
it's more of like a marketing thing rather than, say, a lack of availability of the necessary hops to make a West Coast.
No. I don't think it's a marketing thing. I think this is what drinkers out here actually prefer, which is a funny one because it's not my preference at all. I like your super piney West Coast. I like them strong. I like them. Very very dry. But with sharp piney notes, like to me that's a good IPA. if there's malt in the back end of it, out west, to me that's like, oh, somebody screwed up the recipe, or they're covering bad beer with too many hops or something. Out here, there's evidently a preference for a bigger malt sort of tire on your racing IPA.
Okay.
Why does that terrify me so much?
I don't know. I mean, it's
attack of the Eastern IPAs.
Look, like I said, this is a weird market because, you know, like, craft brewing started very late here. Maybe the big malt end is a mistake, and maybe that's something that they just haven't worked their way out of yet, because it's a less mature market. I mean, it could be, but the fact that everybody's doing it, like, I get the same thing from Great Lakes Brewery as I get from Muskoka Brewery, as I get from Sawdust City, as I get from Flying Monkeys, as I get from Henderson. Out here, malt in your IPA is a normal thing, and that is just how Ontario rolls. So that is my observation on beer for this evening. Let's talk about.
Right on.
So, question for you guys. I have a feeling you've, at least some of you have tried this one, the Octopus. I believe it's paired.
Yeah, I think I've
had. I think we did it on the show.
I think so.
Sure.
I think I remember having that when I was living in Vancouver. I do think I remember it.
I have a
I was
vague.
trying to remember if we've done it on this show.
Is that a
couldn't.
Parallel 49 brew?
I think it is. Yeah.
It would be that kind of a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I had it on the weekend by accident.
How can you have it by
How did
accident?
you? I was walking down the
wasn't-
street and I tripped over, fell into the gutter, and suddenly I was drinking beer.
Yeah. Suddenly this Octopus is being poured down my gullet. No, my brother had it on hand, so I was not instrumental in the getting of this. And so I was pleasantly surprised, actually, because I'd seen it on the shelves, and I was vaguely aware that maybe we had done it on the show, but couldn't really remember. And so I wasn't really looking forward to it. But I actually, I didn't mind it. It had a nice
Another
flavor to it.
glowing review. I didn't mind it.
I thought it was okay. I wouldn't force it down my parents' throats, but I think that it's totally, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, the beer, it tasted like beer. I think the beer was very similar to the beer that I had tonight, because beer is the same, right? No? There's different styles of beer. Beer! Exactly, it just devolves into beer! Boy, drink beer! Have beer, put beer in mouth, swallow beer!
So I'm curious, Locke, seeing as that you're, I don't know why I didn't bring this up, I guess just octopuses. How would it compare? Do you even remember the Octopus? If you indeed had it.
Memory, a distant memory, but not an unpleasant one. I would say that this is as beers named after octopuses go. I think there's room for one more. We're waiting for that right, octopusian,
Ooh,
I mean,
that's a good name.
You call it Octopus, wouldn't you? Right?
Well,
after-
I think that one's probably
movie written by George MacDonald Fraser.
Octopus.
I think there's licensing issues as well.
Maybe.
But who knows?
But
The corpse of Adam Driver? What? Adam Driver?
what about
Well,
Octopus?
I'm cut off. No, I meant Roger Moore. Roger Moore. Apparently, my brain has connected Roger Moore and Adam Driver together. So there you go. I don't know where
Could you
there
imagine
was a
Roger
joke in
Moore
there somewhere. I don't. It's gone
Kylo
now.
Ren?
He's referring to.
One of us here used to play in a band called The Octopus, although spelled with numbers and characters, kind of the way you would have.
I have a T-shirt of that band, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So we're all fond of octopi here.
Octopus pie. By the way, the apricotopus is parallel 49, and yes, I think we've done it before. So.
Just so.
So I want to check to make sure. Did you guys all catch the huge movie trailer that dropped yesterday?
Yes.
What?
There was tell him, Alan.
All right. So basically, the movie that we've been waiting for the past 25 years, Bill and Ted's 3, the trailer dropped yesterday.
The film is officially titled Bill and Ted Face the Music. They are, of course, our age, so they are older gentlemen who have yet to write the song that is supposed to unify the universe. So basically, they're just
Tell me they interact with their digitally younger selves.
Well, we don't know that, but the digital version of them in the trailer is amazing. Basically, they realize that it seems that in the trailer they're implying that Bill and Ted are walking around going, "Oh man, we totally haven't written that song," because the people from the future come back and they're like, "What the hell, dudes? Come on, man." And you haven't written the song yet. So they're middle-aged dads, that kind of thing. And so they decide, okay, well, the only way we're going to write the song is if they go into the future, I think, and to try and steal the song that is supposed to have unified the universe and bring it back to present day. So there you go. Bill and Ted Face the Music, dropping, I gather, August 25th.
Now, I gotta say, Alex Winter, it's like not a day has passed. I mean, he looks a bit older, but he sounds like Bill S. Preston Esquire. But Keanu Reeves as Ted Theodore Logan, it looks and sounds like John Wick pretending to act as Ted Theodore Logan. He's just too hardened. He's too action star. He's got that gruff voice and everything, and it just does not fit.
So you're saying he's lost it, and the movie's gonna suck balls?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Keanu Reeves has outgrown the role Ted Theodore Logan.
I can see that.
The problem with Keanu Reeves is a little bit too good an actor, because when he decides to do like blank personalityless slate, we got Neo, and I've never seen a performance with less personality ever out of any fucking actor in the fucking realm of history. Like it's amazing. Like he actually has no personality whatsoever.
My favorite.
I think I feel like he kind of got that performance a little bit from his performance in Point Break, where, if we're to be honest, as a guy who's living double lives, he kind of just sort of shot for the middle and kind of did that. No?
Well, sorry, it comes out on the 21st of August. My favorite part, of course, is that it is featuring Death. Death is going to be in it as well, played by, of course, our favorite actor. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
William Sadler.
William Sadler, who played the villain in Die Hard 2, and of course Death, and 100 other roles that we've seen him in. Really cool guy.
He Melvined me.
But coming back to Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves and about their acting, I think that the one thing that I think this film is benefiting from is that Alex Winter actually has done some acting, but he became a director and he's been doing directing sort of almost exclusively for the last 30 years. But I don't know. Here's the thing: is that Keanu Reeves is a very strange. He's like Johnny Depp, just without the alcohol and booze and drugs. Alcohol and booze, same thing, but because they're the thing that I always sort of
many islands, and I think we owe that marginally to a motorcycle accident. Is that not the case?
Sorry, what?
Didn't he get into a motorcycle accident? Isn't that what put his career on hold after Speed?
No.
Where he played a character with no personality of any kind.
No. From what I understand, from what I've read, and I read this ages ago, is that I gather that his he had actually some fairly horrible things happen to him in his personal life around that time, where his girlfriend, his first of all, I gather a sibling of his, I don't know, I can't remember if it was a sister or a brother, died, and then his girlfriend gave birth to a stillborn child, and then she died like 3 months later. That's all kind of happened within like a year in his life, and which I think was either right before or right after The Matrix. I can't remember, but I always have thought of stuff like that when you're emotionally sucked dry to that point of where you just kind of like, whatever, gonna do it. I don't know. I gather he was stunning in Manitoba when he did not King Lear. He did what did he do? Merchant of Venice? I can't remember. Romeo and Juliet? No, that wasn't it. What the hell did he do? Hamlet. When he did Hamlet, apparently he was amazing. All the reviews are like, "This is Keanu Reeves acting. Oh my God, this is astounding." So, I don't know. I have to say that for a performance, for his average everyday performance, I don't know. Maybe they're more subtle than we're used to. Maybe we're more used to TV acting versus not, or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Look, I thought his performance as John Wick in the first John Wick was absolutely fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
There was no question in my mind that was like a fucking superior movie in all respects. The sequels are disappointing, what sequels normally are, but his action skills are evidently back on point. So there was a motorcycle accident, to my understanding, and that did put him out of the action part of the fucking. What are you fucking rolling over laughing at?
It's a comment from the chat. It says, "What WTF is going on here?" It's like a mixture between a neighborhood bar full of middle-aged alcoholic white guys who hate their wives mixed with a Tim Hortons. And I replied, "That's pretty accurate."
That's what we're going for.
Somebody finally understands us. Thank you. I'm completely full of bullshit, which is the username that I got. You nailed our entire show down to what we've been striving to do for the past 5 years. You're the first person to recognize it. That we're all a bunch of middle-aged alcoholic white guys in a bar, and a Tim Hortons smashed into us at full speed.
Cheers.
That is a brand statement.
I salute you, sir. I'm assuming you're sir.
That should be our Twitter thing that describes us. You know,
That should be our Twitter account.
Can we quote? Ask the person who sent that if we can quote them.
Oh my God! Can we?
I think
quote
you just did ask
you
them,
on that. I think I did. Oh my God, that's brilliant! Absolute brilliance. Thank you for very much for that. I'm sorry, Locke. Please continue with whatever you were talking about because I've forgotten.
I think it was on about. It was on the action. the action circuit because of the motorcycle accident. It sounds like he was out of the acting circuit because of the, whatever else was going on in his life at the time.
Yeah.
Which is none of my business. I'm not one of those like readers of the Inquirer or that. But in terms of like getting acting out of the guy, like Bill and Ted. So it's a big stretch to get back to doing a character that was essentially just him not flexing any acting muscles and kind of just to what I understood, like kind of just doing what people of our age at that point normally did, because he is our age, isn't he?
Yeah.
He looks a lot younger, which is an interesting point.
I don't know. I thought the Ted character, I think that required a certain amount of acting chops. I mean, not Oscar-worthy acting chops or anything like that. But I think, yes, I do.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa,
Dude.
Yeah, I do. I the movie's always been really entertaining. To me, I've watched it, I don't know how many times, like dozens of times. I love that movie. It's such a good one. And my favorite character in it was Keanu Reeves' character. But when I watched the trailer for the new one, it just looks like an action star trying to be something that he's not.
I don't know. I think.
Trying to be something that he's not. Would like unpack that, please?
Okay. What I mean is, that's what an actor does: is be something that they're not. But what I'm saying is, he's almost like he's more fitting as an action star now. It would be like, when Arnold Schwarzenegger started doing those comedy movies. He did a couple with Danny DeVito and stuff, and he said he wasn't going to do action movies anymore. He was just going to do comedy movies. Well, that didn't last very long because nobody could believe him as a comedy guy. Those movies were, yeah. So, same deal with Stallone. He tried doing a couple of comedy movies, and it was kind of, so he went back to action.
You're saying that the Expendables aren't comedies?
Oh, I'm not talking about the Expendables. He did something, I don't remember what it was called.
I think they're action comedies. Are they not action comedies?
Okay, yeah, action comedies are different. But he actually did something where he was like he was a cop and his partner was like some grandmother or something, and I don't really remember what the name of it was. I think. Maybe I dreamed that. Maybe that didn't actually happen.
Actually, no. I think you're right. There is a film where he is performing.
It was the old lady from the oldest lady from Golden Girls.
Yeah. I want to say "Throw Mama from the Train," but that wasn't it.
No.
But I know. I think it's "Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot." Is that right?
Yes. That's it.
I don't know. I can't remember all kinds of important things, but I can remember that ridiculous film, which I've never seen. That's the big thing. I've never seen the film, but when you grow up,
I'm sure
going through video stores, you always see the covers. You remember the covers.
Okay, I miss going to the video store. Does anybody else miss going to the video store?
God, yeah. No. As a business model, it was awesome. Everybody won. The problem is the Mac got pulled out of that whole industry by effectively computer and sort of digital companies, right?
It's computers.
Computers. Sandy was high school football rules.
No. But quite seriously, once people can stream stuff from home, the economics, it's just a race to the fucking bottom as it is with all economics nowadays, which is sad and needs to change more than anything else that needs to fucking change. It's the scale of everything has to be the thinnest margin with the maximum exposure, so that it's like a mega thing. That's if you want to know why COVID-19 is successful, it's because it gets more exposure than other deadly diseases have because it doesn't kill you as fast, right? This is the whole thing with like the way our economics work right now. Is like, so you got a business like video stores. Well, okay, so it's a win for the production companies because they're making money off of that. It's a win for the stores themselves. So community people, like people actually out in, Joe Blow America, Joe Blow Canada, Joe Blow Australia, Joe Blow UK, all, in their respective communities, have a chance to set up a shop and make some coin, right? What does it give to the public? What gives them a place to congregate? If they don't know what to do in an evening, well, let's rent a movie, which is an excuse to go to the video store where you're likely to meet other people who don't know what they want to do in the evening. And so what you do is you rent a bunch of movies as a thin excuse for meeting other people and going out and getting boozed up and having sex, right? Isn't that what it really means? Like, who
Yes.
didn't use video rentals as the best way to meet chicks ever, right?
Totally.
I think so.
Anyway, those days are long gone. Now everybody does everything from fucking home. Under the post COVID-19 situation, that's only going to be more so. So you're going to get more and more people who kind of live their entire lives through a touch screen. I don't know. Like, was the Matrix telling us something? We've been talking about it all evening.
Maybe we could get Jeremy Turner in on this.
Oh man!
On this discussion.
Jer has his own cryptocurrency.
No, I
Does
didn't
he have
know
his?
that.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's trading it yet, but gotta figure out a value proposition, or I guess maybe first. But my God, like, yeah, no, we really have hit this sort of talk about playing with the fourth wall. Like, the fourth wall is the touch screen, and that's now ubiquitous. Discuss.
I'm very curious. I want to know what Turner's cryptocurrency is called.
Jerbucks.
Jerbucks? I totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I would have to ask Jer again about that. I think he told me, and it wasn't Jerbucks. No. I think it related to one of his various multimedia project art sort of pseudonyms. I think maybe, though it wasn't Professor Sailboat.
Okay.
He did for a while go by Professor Sailboat. Just
Professor
saying.
Sailboat.
Yeah.
Wow, Professor Sailboat. Welcome to hell, boys. We've achieved it. So, I had a thought, but I can't remember what it was, so never mind. Ignore me. I've totally lost my train of thought.
Anything else going on in beer news, guys?
Beer news.
Actually, there was something about beer. There was a fight about the inter-border stuff between provinces because of the whole COVID thing. That some provinces want to continue opening borders slightly to allow more beer through, but apparently Ontario is being the biggest poo-poo on the whole thing. I mean, rightly so. But it was kind of a dry news week for beer. I mean, it's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, it is. It actually has been for a while.
Here's what I can tell you about Dial a Bottle in Toronto. last week, Hendersons was not on their menu. This week, Hendersons is on their menu. Hendersons
Really?
are a brewery that I have championed for a little while now. Their UPA in Toronto is awesome, and it has those characteristics that I was talking about earlier, which is to say that it's a hoppy product and a malty one too. Hendersons have their brewery. I feel like I'm maybe putting this in the wrong order. Hendersons have their brewery below the office of a certain gentleman who I knew back in the old days in Victoria, who makes cinema. I am referring to Banger Productions. They're the ones responsible for Metal A Headbanger's Journey. And there've been television show sequels, and he's done a couple of documentaries. He's done one on Alice Cooper called Super Duper Alice Cooper, and some other ones. Anyway, yeah, he's right above their brewery, and I ran into him at a gig the other day by a band called Cell Phone. If you're a Toronto thrash listener, Cell Phone, oh, very sweet. It's kind of a retro kind of a thing. They wear CFL memorabilia. They sound like Venom. Very good.
Nice. I'm trying to think of a beer that I really want to have right now, and I cannot think of one. Something sweet.
Why would you want
Thors Hammer.
Oh, you're right. Thors Hammer would do it. You're right. Never mind.
So, I need you, Shane,
Yes.
because you're in Vancouver. I need you to contact Central City and find out if they actually put out a Thors Hammer this year. Because I've been looking for it and I can't find it anywhere.
Isn't it really... I thought they didn't start putting that out till around like October.
No.
No? Is it... It's not year round, is it?
No, it isn't. I actually haven't seen it on shelves here in a couple of years. The only time I've ever had it is in the thing, the Christmas thing.
The Christmas?
The
thing?
Advent calendar.
The Advent calendar, okay.
So I need you to communicate.
It's pretty awesome that a product called Thors Hammer only comes out in an advent calendar now.
Mm.
Well, no, it doesn't only come out in the Advent calendar. It's the only time I've seen it.
Yeah, but
In recent memory.
It's lost in the advent only. So okay, what about the Alibi Room? Shane, reports from Vancouver. Is the Alibi Room, are they back to serving customers?
The Alibi Room... Hey, Peanut Gallery! Is the Alibi Room open yet? Yes. It is? When are we going to go next? Tomorrow? Excellent.
Apparently
There you
it is.
How are they doing their social distancing?
go. Well, like all restaurants that have slowly started to open, it's basically you can only fit as many people in as you can have that required 2 meters apart. So basically space between the tables. And some restaurants are not happy about it, some are, but
So it is what
they're
it
coping.
is, right?
They're coping.
And I think they can have a maximum of 50 people in, like a maximum. I mean, that's doesn't matter how big your establishment is. 50 is the cutoff.
Although I think that changed the other day because I gather somewhere in the Lower Mainland, out sort of closer to Langley, a family gathering was held by somebody. Like a bunch of family members came together. There were more than 50, and apparently now there's 20 confirmed cases in that family. So yeah, it kind of made the government kind of go, see, told you. Need to keep it down. So, who knows? I don't know. It's a very, very, I don't know. I don't know how it all occurred or went down, but it did. So, life
Well,
goes
okay,
on.
so you're supposed to keep it to small groups, but some people just aren't getting it, you know?
Pretty much, and I think that's exactly what was in the on the CBC's article. Was that the Bonnie Henry is her name? I just call her Bonnie. But essentially, yeah, she just basically was saying that people just don't seem to understand. They're not, as you said, they're not getting it. That it is a thing that's insidious and does require attention, and you need to make sure to try and maintain the space. Blah 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 blah. And when you get together with family members, it can be a problem potentially, and this sort of proves why. So I don't know. It really sucks, but this is the world we're in right now. So what else can we do about it? Not a whole lot.
Well,
So
there are some things that we can do, and one of them is play video games. Has anybody played any good video games lately?
anybody? You are
Yeah,
not a game player. So sad.
Yeah. I play classic video games.
It's true.
That's on point. I dig that. Like retro tech is like a thing.
Yes, it very much is.
Well,
I've got
Adam
my-
got that
Can't-
in
can't
the
tell-
box, right?
Retro games you're playing, dude.
Well, I
Um,
play.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, Shane, you were gonna say?
Oh no, I actually played some Minecraft on the weekend. So that was kind of fun. I hadn't played it in quite some time, actually. Probably about 6 months or so. But yeah, no, it was good.
Tell us about the circumstances. What are we talking? Like this was on somebody's server. This was
No, it was locally, mainly because I have been thinking about some modded stuff. So I was playing a game that was, what was it called? It had a strange name. But that was one of them. The other one I played was All the Mods 5, which is basically a few hundred mods. All in one. And of course, if you know what I'm talking about, Minecraft players, then there you go. But for everyone else, basically the game has modifications to it. But it was fun because it is taxing on a computer, which reminds me, you need to get a new machine, man, so you can play some modded stuff. But essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking into that right now. Now, on the point of Minecraft, I did have a question from my niece.
Yes, yeah.
Over the weekend, who wanted to get in touch to ask a question on Minecraft because she figured that I was somebody that would be authoritative on that, which is sweet. But whatever the case. So I've been playing a little bit of the vanilla, what is it, 1.13 or something like that? It's the one after the water mod.
The
ocean.
oh yeah, okay, because we're up to 115, I think now. 116 is around the corner, yeah.
Faster and faster it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like my knowledge on Minecraft is rapidly obsolescing, but man, I sort of have this dream for like getting myself a new computer that can run all of the craziest mods and do it in real time, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that on a budget. So what do you think? Is it buy components and assemble your machine and make it a desktop performance, or is it get a gamer laptop, because that's an option that I've been looking at?
It is, well, I mean, in reality, the reality, oh my god, what's in this beer? The reality is there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but essentially, in terms of the Minecraft playing, You want RAM and as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because
Is video acceleration a major piece?
It does play a part in it, but because of what it's built on. I mean, this is the other thing too. There are so many versions of Minecraft now. You have to pay attention to that because there's the Bedrock edition, which is basically the original game being written in Java, and the Bedrock, I gather, is written in C. So it has different requirements, different stabilities, different memory management, stuff like that, where Java is pretty stupid when it comes to memory management, in my opinion. But, yeah, I mean, it all plays a part, but RAM is really the important piece, especially when you're modding it, because you need space for that stuff to load, and that's how Java sort of works. So.
Gotcha.
So if you don't have 16 as a minimum, I think that's going to play into it hugely. But we can talk more about it later because this is a beer podcast, man. But anyway, on that note, I just realized we've been going for an hour, so I think that will wrap it up for this week. Next week, of course, same time, same bat channel, Wednesday night, and I will be around. And also, it's Dave's fault this week. Thank you much for that, Dave. And what beer are we going to do next week, boys? Do we have any idea? Is it going to be a surprise again?
I think it's going to be a surprise. But I think the surprise is whether Shane's actually going to go to a liquor store and try to find it.
That's a good point. I blame COVID. All right. Until next time, tell people about the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of junk. And also, don't forget to, think of us in your dreams. Alan, take us out. Quick, take us out.
I got nothing to take us out with.
Party fucking hard.